Today we're making some dumplings, aka gyoza, which means preparing the wrappers as well as the umami and juicy filling at home in just a few steps. But not just this, spoiler alert, we're gonna be cooking the dumplings in 3 different methods. Steamed, boiled, and pan-fried. As we are approaching the celebrations of Chinese New Year, we thought that showing you how to make dumplings at home would come in very handy these days. So we're not just spending a couple of hours at home trying out this recipe for you, for your friends or family, girlfriends, boyfriends, whoever you like. Dumpling party, that's gonna be the title of this video, I tell you. How to throw a dumpling party at home from scratch.
It's too long.
Throw a dumpling party at home from scratch, how about this? You like it? Okay, you like it, you just give us a like. So, dumplings, what's the deal? We started from the filling by choosing one of the most traditional variations, and that is minced pork and, you're good, cabbage. You can even argue that this filling is called cabbage and minced pork, you know, whatever. So take some cabbage leaves, stack them up and start cutting them into slices. Maybe a smaller cabbage would have made things easier, but never mind. Oh yes, make sure that you're using the napa cabbage or Chinese cabbage or even called celery cabbage. You can easily spot the napa cabbage because it has longer leaves as well as, you know, paler colors as compared to the green, huge, massive cabbage that you see all the time. Now start with cutting them from the other side as you obtain finely chopped pieces. Not too small. Not too small. Now we are going to let the moisture out. So place the cabbage into a bowl and sprinkle some salt on top. A good mix and set aside. And mince some ginger too. Make sure that you do this very carefully because you don't want to find any big chunks of ginger in your mouth once eating your dumplings. Same thing for the green onion, but just remember that we only need the white part rather than the green one. And again, same thing for the garlic. Here I used a small press for an extra help before placing these 3 aromatics into a bowl with some hot water. The water functioned as a flavor enhancer here by releasing all the aromas out of these aromatics. It was then time to proceed by marinating the filling. We took a bowl with some minced pork inside and started off by adding the aromatic water we had prepared before, mixing everything with your chopsticks from one side. For the meat to absorb the aromatic water, we did this in 3 batches by slowly adding the water inside. And then salt, soy sauce, some white pepper before mixing again, with a pinch of sugar too. Then I used some cornstarch to thicken the filling while adding a roasted note by pouring in some sesame oil at the very end. You still remember the cabbage? Bring the guy back. Squeeze it like a stress ball to remove any excess water. Then add it into the meat filling, a good mix. Same direction with chopsticks, good mix and drop that. Let this marinate in the fridge for a good 30 minutes. With the smell of the seasoning with all those filling was something, wow, incredible. But try to stay focused because we've still got to bake the wrappers. Take a big bowl with the all-purpose flour in, add in the salt and start by mixing it. Now we need some nice and boiled hot water. Then we're going to slowly add into the flour while mixing it. As you obtain a firm dough, use your hands and knead it for about 20 minutes. Great, almost there. Almost. That has to rest for about 30 minutes. We added a cling film on and set aside at room temperature. Here you could use one of those kneading boards that have all sorts of signs and measurements on to guide you through the process. But you can skip this, because we're going to be using a much better thing, a pasta rolling machine. So we repeated this process another couple of times before starting to create our nice wrappers. By now you should realize how smooth your dough looks. You want an elastic texture, being not too wet and not too dry. Oh yes, make sure you sprinkle some all-purpose flour on the working surface, as well as on your hands, while kneading the dough. Cut the dough in 4 or 6 parts and work it gently with your hands, before placing it into the rolling machine. Starting from the thickest setting, usually number 1, and moving it down to the thinner ones. Number 5 or 6 should do a great job in getting your wrappers really thin. Look at these sheets, somehow transparent, but you can still feel the elasticity of these. I then took some biscuit cutters and shaped the wrappers into circles. Just remember that for the wrappers you can even do it with your bare hands without using any pasta rolling machine or by using a press like this. Now that we had our wrappers ready, it was time for the final assembly, and this is gonna be a big It's a big show. Okay, the trick here is to put the filling into each of the wrappers, and it's pretty straightforward. And that's where we get to the part where you're most scared of, the folding. Easy, easy. So we're gonna start with some water on the edges of the wrappers. See here? Close them as some tacos. And closing them as tacos means really closing them on the middle part. Now stay focused. And now stay focused, please. Stay with me here. You got the taco close in the middle, right? You got it. And now let's do this. Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you actually see that? Let's do this again. Slow motion here. Now, from one edge to the middle. Pinch the edges, starting from the outside to the inside. 2 to 3 pinches from each side should complete the job. I mean, you could even buy some of these, but I warn you on the outcome. Let's run a quick battle. Hands versus machine. Okay, nice. It seems okay. Well, it doesn't stand though. And it looks more like an empanada. You've seen an empanada before, right? Didn't see an empanada. Let's put the empanada on the screen. Take it easy and wrap them all. Take your afternoon and go for it. It doesn't really take that long. Look at this. I was very satisfied with the results. 3 different ways to make these beauties. Boiled, steamed and pan-fried. Let's start with the pan-fried, shall we? Start with a preheated wok with some oil on medium heat. Pan-fry for 3 minutes and add in some water. Cover with the lid and let it cook for 3 to 4 minutes. Turn them on the other side if you want to get some extra crunchiness, and job done. Oh my days. I mean, pan-fried dumplings, that's, you know, just perfect. Let's go ahead with some steamed dumplings, shall we? Seat your dumplings nice on a paper liner or cabbage leaves and place them into a steamer. I use a traditional bamboo one. Cover with the lid and steam for about 10 minutes. Again, job done, dinner served. Look at these juicy steamed dumplings on my days. Yeah, we'll do these things. Perfect. And now let's give them a boil, shall we? Place the dumplings into boiling water with some seasoning on inside and a pinch of salt. Add in some cold water whenever the water starts to boil. Cook for about 10 minutes, remove and set aside. And look at this. And look at this. Juicy, marvelous, brilliant, glancy, glamorous. Oh wow. Look at the color. And here I've got 2 more pieces of news for you. One is good, the other one is bad. Not really bad, but still bad. The bad news is that for a great dumpling party, you really need a great dumpling dipping sauce. So where's the good news? We got that sorted for you. We use some of our Chinese chili oils, from the traditional fermented black bean sauce to other creations we made with gong choy and another one with some mushrooms. Trust me when I say that sprinkling the chili oil on top of your dumplings is even going to feel more rewarding than making the dumplings themselves. It's not just about putting colors on these plates, but also adding in the missing piece for this marvelous puzzle. I was shocked. I mean, I didn't even know where to start, but I did know after a while. The pan-fried ones with the juice inside and crispy skin, all my days. Then the steamed ones. So tender and still juicy. And finally the boiled ones, which despite sounding boring, are some of my favorite ones because they keep a silky, smoothy sort of texture. And summarizing all the techniques that we've learned so far, we have the wrappers, how to make them, preparing the filling, which you can change in any of your creations, and then of course the folding that you can change in any other shapes that you like, or even adding some colors into the dough by making your dumplings green, or even black, red, or even like 3 colors, or whatever color you feel like going for. And fourth, you've also learned the fact that preparing a dipping sauce is not that easy, so just go for the Chinese ones. We've done the dirty job for you guys. I remember spending my first Chinese New Year in China at my friend's place, and we were eating dumplings for dinner, of course with all sorts of other dishes, but mainly dumplings, when I suddenly felt something in my mouth. Woo! There was a coin. I mean, a real coin. It's one of those traditions in China where people during Chinese New Year have dumplings, and usually in one of these dumplings there's a coin. And whoever finds that coin, it's gonna be the lucky person for that year. Well, yeah, I don't really remember if I went lucky that year, but I still managed to pass all my exams. That makes the year, you know, extremely lucky anyway. So my name is Gianluca, and if you enjoyed watching this video, just give us a like because it's gonna help us out and it's going to help you out by, yeah, just making a good thing. That's, yeah, because it's good for everyone. Win-win. So happy Chinese New Year, 春节快乐，如虎添翼, which means just have a great smashing year of the tiger, as you wish.